Welcome everybody to another episode of Passion Project Podcast, where we would like to welcome an entrepreneur, innovator, and all-around creativity energizer, Emilio Estrada. Welcome to our podcast.
Thank you guys.
Welcome, bro.
Honestly,
it's good to have you, man.
Thank you very much. Honestly, it's a big honor. I have great admiration for you too. So
We appreciate
you
that.
two coming to me and inviting me here. Honestly, it's a great honor for me. I'm super happy to be here, and I hope we can cover some very cool topics.
It's an absolute pleasure.
100%, man. It's totally chilled out, totally casual, so no stress. It's not a serious Q&A. So yeah, man. I mean, I want to start by asking you a little bit about your past experiences. In terms of the companies and stuff you worked in.
Well, I mean, ever since I was a little boy, like very little, like as long as I can remember, like I had kind of this like obsession for like independency and liberty. Like. So, like, I mean, obviously my parents have always, like, supported me. They've always, like, funded me and everything for the stuff I need to do and, like, for living and everything. But since I was, like, 7 years old, I remember I would wash their cars just so they would give me money. And so I could, like, I could buy the stuff I wanted to without needing to ask them, I wanted to, like, be independent, And then, so I started saving up that money from the car washes. And then what I did was I went to a wholesale candy shop. And I bought huge loads of candy, and I sold them at school. Where I was making almost 1,000% per candy I was selling. Like it was very good, and I mean it was just candies, but slowly, day by day. I mean you're 14 or whatever, and you're making good money in school, And then after I continued to save this up, I decided to start my own clothing brand. So I've always been very passionate about art and design and all these kinds of topics, and like it's always been like my dual interests, and I'm always trying to find a way to merge these two things, design and art and business.
Right.
So I decided to found this clothing brand called The Buddha, and The Buddha was based on. I did this when I was 16 years old in high school in Colombia. And The Buddha was an ecological clothing brand, like completely ecological, sustainable cotton and everything, which mainly focused on putting art on a new canvas. So basically what we did for each collection, we would partner with some artists, emerging artists, maybe artists that didn't have the recognition enough to be in a gallery, or that needed that extra push, that needed somewhere to display their art. And we designed collections with these artists. All of them were limited edition, and they were amazing, like they were a huge hit. So we were constantly making like new collections with new artists and everything, and in school everybody loved it. There was times where, since they were limited edition, there was times that I would sell, like I would announce that I was going to make a collection that was going to drop on Wednesday, and Wednesday during lunchtime, boom, sold out the whole thing. Like it reached a point where I was starting to taking a card machine to school.
How old were you?
By there I was like 16, 17. And I was already registered in the Chamber of Commerce. I did all the legal paperwork. I had my own bank account for my business and the personal one. Like I was very, very organized in school in this sense. And I started taking to school a card machine. Like I was starting to pay taxes actually and everything. So like obviously the card machine was tied to the business, but since it was a small business, it was like, I paid for your lunch yesterday. You owe me money. You don't have cash. Pay me card. So it was like it was crazy. I felt like it was incredible. And then when I graduated high school. I know this was a great brand. It participated in 3 fashion shows, like 3 consecutive years in fashion shows. Like it was very, very good, and it was in like many shops and everything. But when I went to like graduate high school, like I wanted to come to Madrid, like without feeling like the pressure of that I was already doing something. I wanted to look at like new opportunities, new horizons, new things, and also like I came here to study. Like I didn't want to distract myself from that. I'm still growing. I was only 18. I don't need to like have my life set, at 18.
Right.
So like I think that takes away a lot of opportunities in life because it kind of blinds you. So right there, I just came to uni. I've always had like small business, small startups, whatever. Like, but nothing too serious until around 8 months ago. During the quarantine, I was making an e-commerce shop in Colombia that was going to be basically a market based on all ecological products. So like good skincare products, good health products like clothing, ecological clothing, and like bamboo toothbrushes, all this kind of ecological lifestyle stuff. And it was going very well. We had hired a team of creatives to like a team, an agency called Playhouse, and we had hired them to make the website and the branding for us. Yeah, and while we were in this process, I mean, I think I should have done this before hiring the agency, but this is kind of the stuff you learn in the process. I never really did the math to see how scalable this idea was. So when I started to like, throw a couple numbers around, I was like, okay, there's 50 million people in Colombia. Yeah. Well, like, I mean, out of these people that could really, really actually pay for them, like, I would narrow it down to maybe 300,000. Out of those 300,000 that actually lived in the country, that weren't traveling around and moving around, maybe like 200,000. Out of those 200,000 that were actually conscious and wanted to like make a difference and would invest and pay for this, I would narrow it down to 50,000. So why would I make an e-commerce market to compete with the big brands that are out there when I'm really only focusing on the target market of 50,000 people in a country where it's 50 million people? So I was like, no way. Like, I'm not doing this. It's too much. First, we were going to do drop shipping. I don't like drop shipping because it doesn't allow you to do good customer service. The customer service is terrible. Nowadays, the unpackaging experience is very, very, very important for the customers. Like, reoccurring orders always happen from these unpackaging. And with drop shipping, if you can never really handle the product, you're not really giving it your brand when you're delivering, really. So what's the point of building a brand?
100%, bro.
So I didn't want to do it that way, and then I started looking at costs for a warehouse. Costs are extremely high, and I just said, it's not going to be the way. But what happened, I had already worked with this, so we like kind of dropped the project, we kind of put it on pause, but I kept talking with this agency, Playhouse, yeah. We had realized that throughout the meetings, like the director of Playhouse and there were like more people in the meetings, always, but strangely enough, we had a very strong connection. Like all the meetings, like even though we didn't know each other personally, like only virtual and everything, we were always like agreeing with things, like we were always like, and not even always agreeing, like maybe like I would challenge her and she would like accept my challenge and challenge me back, and we're like actually building something, building ideas. Nowadays, people think like when you question something or you challenge it, it's bad. It's not. If you go to Google, they have a whole team focused on destroying the projects that they already have. They focus on finding the errors in the projects just to become stronger. Nowadays, people don't understand that. So we found this like great connection, and I ended up meeting her in person. We talked. She talked to me more about Playhouse, and by that point, she told me like, really, I would love, like, I love the way we like our synergy, the way we talk, like, and so she was like, I really want you to hop on and everything, and that's where I've been for the past 8 months. In Playhouse, we work with creative direction, we work with music videos, production, websites, brandings, content creation, 3D rendering, 2D design, 3D design. Like, we work a bunch of things. That's why we consider ourselves creative energizers. We don't think there's really a field that really defines what we're doing nowadays, because we have such a wide spectrum of things and we can specialize in so many things. But what it comes down to, and what the red line you can find throughout all our projects, is really the way we approach things. We only work with people that are offering something positive to the world. Like, we're only working with people that share our same values. Before even working with someone, we have at least 2 meetings to get to know them, and then we see if we work together. But we really care about who we're supporting, who we're working with, and everything. And I think our customers really value that. We have customers that have waited. They can't meet, like, their budget doesn't meet our costs, and they've literally waited a year just to build up the budget and pay us. Like, and this is like very crazy, like, So yeah, that's pretty much like an overall. I'm sorry if I extended myself. I'm a long talker, so.
Yeah. You know what? One thing, the first thing you said is with the selling suites. Yeah, the selling suite is something that I've heard so often. Like, for example, we've had a guest on this year. She also started off like when she was like 6 or 7 selling suites. So many different like entrepreneurs and stuff that I've heard of start off by selling sweets. It's so interesting how like it's because there's always a question, oh, can you learn? Because we have entrepreneurship class and stuff at school, and it's like, can you really learn it, or is it something that you just have? Because you seem to have, bro. Like, you seem, and other people that just sold like lemonade and stuff like that, or other people were just waiting for their parents to give them their allowance to get a level or something, I find that interesting. Did you know like that you wouldn't have like a boss later? Did you know that you're gonna be like independent and stuff like that later?
I mean, just as any other, like, I think if you ask, if you ask a little kid what they want to do in the world, they're either going to say a fireman, policeman, like somebody they admire, or I want to own my business. Nobody says like, oh, I want to work for the best entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Nah.
No.
Somebody says, I want to be the best entrepreneur. You know,
Exactly.
there comes a point in your life where you realize, okay, what's it going to be? Like, it's not what I want to. Like,
Yeah.
what is it going to be? Like, I have to actually understand myself and go towards that. You know.
Yeah.
But I feel like, I feel like for me, like, this is like hard for it to leave my mind. Like, even sometimes I really have to like meditate and calm down because I like put a lot of pressure on myself. Like, I sometimes get like tests of the whole body and like I get results of like high level of stress. Honestly, I'm the least stressed person. Like, I am not stressed at all, but they tell me like it's in the subconscious because you have like pressures you put on yourself. And honestly, this pressure is like kind of counterproductive at times, you know. And as I said, like it kind of like blinds me to other opportunities and things. So I really have to. It's very good, but you also have to find a nice balance to it. You know, it can't be excessive because or else with all the pressure, like I have to do, you really don't end up doing anything. You know, you don't give yourself space to breathe.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. Especially for uni students, like we also put so much on our plate and stuff like that. Just generally, just young people.
Yeah.
That's like a good piece of advice to all you people listening. To just tell them what you.
Well, for me, like one time I was really stressed on this, and I called my dad. I'm like, no, I want to do this idea. My father is an entrepreneur, and he supports me in everything. But like he saw me so stressed.
Yeah.
He told me, listen. The biggest people you admire, probably like the biggest businessmen or whatever, or maybe not the ones you most admire, but the biggest ones nowadays are 60, 70, 80 years old. You're 20. You have 60 more years to make business. That's 3 times your lifetime. What you think is everything, you have 3 more times of that to do what you want to do. Don't rush.
What kind of tools and habits do you use? You said you spoke about the subconscious mind, you spoke about meditation. So what do you do on the daily to keep yourself, to maintain that level of stress,
Okay. I mean, for me, like, I'm the type of person, like, I've always, like, enjoyed meditation and everything, but I've always lied to myself that I'm good, I practice it, Sometimes, like, when you feel like you're real about it, like, you kind of lie to yourself that you actually practice, and then all of a sudden it's been, like, a month and a half, 2 months, and you haven't even meditated once. And you're like, okay, why am I lying to myself? So I reached the point, like, 6 months ago, where I realized that somebody told me, like, if you're going to meditate, do it without ego. Don't think, like, am I doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? Don't think I can't do this. No. You're there. You're just there. Try it. Do it with ego. If you're bad, you're going to be better tomorrow. The brain is a muscle, and you have to train it, It's like when you're meditating, a lot of people say, like, you have to quiet your mind. No. You can actually focus on nothing as well, and you're fine. If your mind goes off, it's not bad. A lot of people are like, oh, I can't do this, and you get stressed and you overthink it. But no, if you just accept your mind wandered off, realize it, accept it, and bring it back. It's the same thing as going to the gym and doing 1 more rep on the dumbbell. That's basically it. You're bringing your mind back, you're doing 1 more rep, So it's growth, and you have to do it egoless. So when I realized that, I got really into it. I was always like, oh, I have to meditate 45 minutes, whatever. No, 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes is perfect. You don't need more. I mean, consistency is better than quantity.
100%.
And you really have to set yourself for realistic goals. You can't put so many goals that you won't attain anyone. Just focus on something and make it small. And I swear, when you get good at it, by yourself, it will grow. You'll make it more.
I think people can just start with like 1 minute a day.
Exactly.
Something as simple as 1 minute a day, and then just do it for a week, do it for 2 weeks, watch how your mind works, and then you can increase it like substantially, gradually.
Once your mind has the habit of taking time for that, you can easily adjust. So like for me, like 4 months ago, I realized that 6 months ago, and then like it took me like 2 months to really get in the routine.
Right.
And since 3 months ago, 4 months ago almost, I kind of made this morning routine. Like I saw this interview where a guy said like you can always wake up 1 hour earlier. And like, okay, that's a different topic because I respect sleep a lot and like sleep process. I can talk hours about that, but he always said like you can always wake up 1 hour earlier. So I thought I can also go to sleep 1 hour earlier. Always like, it's no excuse. And then what I started doing is I wake up in the morning, boom, my alarm goes off, and I try to like turn it off without even looking at my phone, like not even looking at what messages I have or shit like this. I turn it off. I get up right away. I do 20 minutes. Not 20 minutes. I put I do as much as I can. It usually reaches between 16 and 18. like naturally my mind has already had that clock, and I put some binaural beats, depending what frequency I'm looking for. So if I'm looking for self-connection, if I'm looking for motivation, if I'm looking for creativity, I kind of like, I wake up, I sit there like 2 minutes, kind of read like how I woke up. Like I actually ask myself, how are you? I feel it. Then I say, okay, I try when I don't want to go to class, so I'm like, okay, instead of saying shit, I have to go to class, I say, okay, I have the opportunity to go to class. So that kind of wakes me up. I have the opportunity, I can't waste it, like I'm grateful for it. Practice a bit of gratitude, and then I hop on the binaural beats, 10, 15 minutes, quick meditation, and then I do like 2 or 3 minutes of stretching. And that's it. It really only took me 25 minutes to complete that. Nothing. And then I hop in the shower and go to uni. And honestly, the days that I don't do this are my crappiest days. Like, it's a game changer. And I never thought how much of a game changer it could be until I actually started doing it. And I swear, like, in the long term, like, you're much more, like, I don't even have to say the benefits of meditation. I'm not going to be here repeating what we've all heard for the past couple of years. It's the big hype. But yeah, definitely, that would be my main routine, morning routine, because it's like, you do it before you even check what's on your WhatsApp, you do it before anything, so your mind is not cluttered with stuff. Oh, I have to do this. Oh, I have to respond. Oh, I have to do that. No, it's like, you just woke up, like, respect that moment and then get in your day. Because it's going to be much harder for you to take a moment out of your day to do it. Might as well just do it before you start.
Yeah, the worst thing is when you wake up and you have your phone and you're going through Instagram and Facebook and all these different messages and WhatsApp and stuff. I think that's the worst way to start your day. So yeah, I mean, the fact that you said that you're using your day as an opportunity instead of people saying that, I have to go to class. It's just like they're resenting it, they're not for it. And when you say you get to go to class, you get to do this, and then you just change the entire dynamic.
Completely. You honestly feel grateful. Yeah. And when you feel grateful, nothing stops you. You're just like,
100%. I remember we were having the conversation in the cafe the other day. I mean, like 2 months back or 3 months back, and you were like, this is something I do as well. Like at the end of every day, you make you have like a journal or something.
I do.
And then you write down whatever happened in the day, what you did right, what you did wrong. Because I do that every day as well. And I'm making it into a habit, and it actually organizes your thoughts like crazy, bro. You can completely know what you did right, what you did wrong. You want to improve yourself. So can you go about that process?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, this is something I did during the quarantine. I wish I would have maintained the habit.
Yeah.
I did it up to 186 days.
Yeah.
And out of those 186 days, I think I didn't do it 4 days. Which were like, during the quarantine, it's very easy to do it at night. You don't go party, you don't do all this. Like, it's very little nights, very little distraction. So that was very good. And I loved it. What I would do is just like at the end of the day, I would write down the highlights of my day, what I enjoyed most. And I started realizing like, wow, like after like a month of doing it, I'm like, wow, like what I'm writing down is not even like the most important thing that happens today. It's like, oh, that first sip of coffee I had in the morning entered like my body, and I was like so happy at that 5 seconds that I swallowed that. Like you start writing down this weird stuff. You're like, okay, but why is that more important that I bought something, And you start really focusing on those tiny things. And after a while, you realize that those are the moments where like the true happiness is. Like those moments where like time stops existing for like 2 or 3 seconds, or like, or you see you're walking around, you see a butterfly like fly around you, and you actually just stop to look at it for 5 minutes, and that just like, I don't know, it gives you life. And after writing this down, you think it's crazy, but after writing it down for a month and a half, you're gonna realize, wow, I value these things so much, and I let them pass like this. So what starts happening is when those moments happen, this is the moment you're going to be writing about tonight. So you live it much more. You don't see the butterfly like, oh, beautiful butterfly, and then the night you remember like, oh, the butterfly. I'm going to write about this tonight. This is going to be the highlight. I'm living right now the highlight of my day. And that just becomes great. That just changes your mindset and everything.
Yeah. And it really just allows you to get to know yourself better, right? Like it's like it's weird. You always think that the big things, when I'm going to get my first car, then, it's going to be amazing. When I get into that uni, it's going to be amazing. But it always turns out, at least for me, when I reach big milestones that I build up over months and months, it's always the weirdest feeling. When I got into uni, I really wanted to get into uni, I just thought like, so this is it? Why am I not jumping? I was just completely neutral, almost like weirdly out-of-body experience, But it really is just the small things, like, I don't know, somebody gives you their ravioli, and it's like, it's just a small moment. You're like, you know what, I really appreciate that, and it's completely different.
Definitely, and you know why that is? It's because you're in the present, because you're saying, like, I'm always looking forward to going to uni. You get to uni, Now you're seeing what you're looking forward to now.
Exactly.
But you were never looking forward to that person giving you the ravioli.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
So when they give it to you, you're like, oh, I'm right here, right now, and this is happening. You're not like, oh, I'm going to be thinking of I'm going to do my master's in 4 years, whatever.
Exactly.
You know? Like there, because you didn't really expect it, you know?
Yeah.
Expectations play a big game in the mind, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
And also, like, a lot of people, they put like a goal and then they force themselves to be unhappy until they reach the goal. You know, I mean, I just think that valuing the journey and like being happy in the journey, not even happy, just being content with the journey, and then pushing yourself until you reach the destination would be, I think that's a much better strategy.
Definitely. It really is. It comes to a point where it's not really about the goal. Like, when you get the goal and you're happy, but the goal is nothing without the process. You know, the process is really what satisfies you. Like, you know, like it's really the satisfaction of the build-up of creating it. So people should really, really focus on that. And honestly, journey shouldn't be bad. Like, you know, like I heard of something really interesting yesterday, and it was this guy talking about. How you can never have the good without the bad. So, you know, you can have the best girlfriend ever and everything, but you're gonna fight. Okay, you know. You can have the best food and everything, but you're gonna get fat, you know? Like, you can have the great, but the good will never come without the bad. And that's just part of life. And that doesn't mean you shouldn't do anything because it comes with the bad. That just means, and like, the good is always gonna come with problems. You just have to choose the problems that you couldn't live without solving.
Oof, oof.
You
Did you
know?
hear that one, guys? Did you hear that one?
It's always gonna come with the bad. But choose
The
that
sense
bad.
of
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go.
I was saying the sense of satisfaction you get after you solve a big problem,
Mm-hmm.
you just feel so much better, so much more confident, so much more secure. It's like you know, the obstacle is the way. I mean, it's also a book. It's a book title that this guy read one day. But you know, you go to the obstacle, you conquer it, and then you get this entire sense of satisfaction. So suffering is inevitable. You know, you have to go through it.
Yeah, suffering is part of everything about growth and part of life. You know, it's part of if you're not suffering, you know, sometimes like life is not about the highs, it's about the lows and the highs, you know.
Yeah.
There's no lows, there's no highs.
And when you look back in life, you know, all the suffering is gonna make some sense. You know, there's always some meaning to it.
Builds character.
Those characters, 100%.
Yeah, and again, the expectation thing. You didn't expect to vibe so well with that woman from Playhouse. Like, you didn't expect it, and it just came, and you were surprised, and that just made everything a lot better.
Yeah.
Most of the time when I see an Instagram picture of somebody and then I meet them in person, and before that I build stuff up, and it's mostly just underwhelming.
So
Your mind it can be so toxic sometimes,
mm-hmm.
and so weird with expectations and all this stuff.
And then we build this entire facade. You know, we see the Instagram profile. Oh, they're going here. They're meeting this person. They're acting like a celebrity, and then you meet them in person, and they're actually the opposite. You know. They don't have those characteristics that you build up. You build up this entire fantasy, but then it's just not true, you know. But yeah, I mean, we live in an appearance-based world, you know. Everything's an appearance. It's the way you look, the way you dress, the people you meet, the stuff that, you know, you wear, like this sort of mask, not a physical mask, but another mask on your face that you want to show everybody, you know. And I just feel that kind of it like writes off the authenticity of people, you know.
Definitely. Like, people nowadays are scared to be themselves, you know, they're trying to fit this, like, social, like, as you said, it's all built by, like, social...
You're conditioning.
Yeah, you're conditioning to fit this certain persona.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's, like, I would say, is, like, the worst thing you can do, you know, you're going to reach a point in life where you're going to look at yourself, you're not even going to recognize yourself.
Yeah, bro, and people try so hard to be likable and stuff, you know, like, they lose themselves in the process.
Totally.
So, yeah.
I mean, for me, what's happened, like, I've never... Like, obviously, like, in high school and everything, when you're young, like, everybody goes through their own process and everything. Like, for me, like, obviously, there's times where I've been trying to fit in. Everybody has, you know. Like,
yeah.
Like, if you haven't, you're just a liar.
That's
you know?
true.
Yeah, you know. But I reached this point in my life where I found some friends. Like, I gradually gravitated to some friends that every time that I was different, they would support me even more. Like, they loved it when I was, like, that's what they liked about me. Like, oh my God, like, what? And honestly, I could say the same thing about them. I had never met people like them, you know, and, like, I admire the same thing about them. Like, oh, this guy, like, I love saying, like, I love sitting next to my friends and literally being like, this man's crazy. Like, this man is crazy. Like, I can't believe you. You know, like, impressing your friends like this. And we support each other to be different, and I think that's like one of the biggest things I value nowadays. People really need that, and they never try to fit in. For the kids, never try to fit in. Actually, find the people that will value this in you, and I swear you will find them, and you will be so happy.
The people you hang out with is very important. Like you're the sum of the 5 people you usually hang out with, and that's a very, very true statement, because either they can move you towards your goals, either they can accept you, they can they can inspire you, or they can let you down. They can get you doing some bad business, some bad habits and stuff, and you just get influenced unconsciously. You can get influenced by them.
Definitely.
Whoever says that they don't get influenced is probably lying again, because everybody gets influenced.
The person that says that doesn't get influenced is probably the person that most gets influenced, because they're ignorant.
They're in denial.
They're in denial, and when you're in denial, you can't really measure it.
Yeah, exactly. That's true.
So once you accept stuff, you can really regulate it. But yeah, what you say about being the sum of the average of your 5 closest friends, you're completely right, and this is exactly what I've realized. Nowadays, I think top 5 people I'm most proud of, my 5 friends, easy.
Yeah, 100%.
And you could basically also say the same thing about entrepreneurship, right? The people that do stuff differently, the people that do stuff that other people aren't doing, and that aren't trying to see well, that's what the other companies are doing. Let's do that as well. It's the ones that really make a difference, that really break through and create new industries, are the ones that
it's
don't follow the footsteps.
The ones that do it with a passion, that kind of switch it up a bit, that actually bring it from deep down, from actually deep down, and obviously to make this happen, you have to be surrounded by this type of people. For example, for me, when I was in school, I had these businesses, my friends didn't. There was a lot of moments where I had to choose between getting to work or hanging out with my friends. And my friends were hanging out every day, and I also had work every day, so this was an everyday dilemma.
Yeah.
Today, I have my business. All of my 5 friends have their own thing going for them, and they're all in uni still, and each of them has their one of them just opened a restaurant, one of them does events, each of them is doing their own thing. Another one is working in a private equity company, So whenever we talk to the group chat, it's okay, guys, I have a meeting at this, okay, why don't we meet up at around, 8 p.m. So from the whole day, we're all focused on our stuff, because each of us is focused. We're not distracting each other, and we help each other grow. When somebody says, "Oh, I have a meeting," nobody says "Oh, stop it! Don't go to the meeting." No, we're "Okay, get that shit done, do it great, and we'll be waiting for you here." And that's the kind of people you have to surround yourself.
That's the spirit, man.
Because or else friends can be counterproductive. So choose wisely.
Yeah, exactly. And just also because obviously you're part of this media company, you do music videos, you guys do photo shoots, stuff like that. What goes? Have you filmed a music video yet?
Yeah,
several. With just walk me through the process, because I'm always interested with the lights and the artists and everything. How does that come to life?
I mean, music videos per se are not my forte.
Yeah.
They're the creative director, Sophia.
Yeah.
She's passionate about music videos. I've never seen someone it's what she wants to it's the part where she mainly likes to focus on.
Mm-hmm.
So really, she does most of the stuff. But basically, the process that goes into this is obviously obviously the song comes out first. You have to kind of feel the vibe of the song and everything, and then basically, what I've seen happen. I literally see Sophia sit down for hours and hours, and she's just writing ideas. She goes to sleep one night. She wakes up. She called me. "Oh, you don't know what I just dreamt last night? I dreamt this and this and this. So I think we should make this and this and this." And then in the course of I don't know, a couple hours, maybe 2 days, she has a storyboard of what the story is gonna say. So she has a frame by frame with an explanation. A nice storyboard, and then this gets presented to the director. And then the director or whoever's funding it or whatever either approves or disapproves. Once it gets approved, okay, what needs to be done? How many people do we need on set? Obviously, one of the most important things with these things is being efficient. So you have to think music videos, you have to plan them out correctly, and they should get done in 1 day.
Alright.
Because think about it this way: when you rent a camera or you rent staff or something, you pay them by day. So every day that you extend is boom, another day, and you don't pay for half a day. No, boom, you pay the day. You have to pay for the set, you have to pay for the shoot, you have to pay the actors another day, you have to pay. This cost. So really, you start at 5 a.m. and you finish at 10 p.m., 11 p.m., whatever, but you go all out that day, you know, and you have to work with the sunlight and everything. So, okay, so basically the director has a budget. With that budget, you kind of work around this, start getting the people in charge of the lights, the color correction, the editing, the cameras, boom, footage, what's this going to be, how many actors we need, do we need extras, do we need help on set, what's the location going to be, and like the location's got and all this stuff basically comes down together, boom, to one date, everybody meets, it goes down, and then after that it's the post-editing, which basically is like the sound and the color correction and like the editing of the frames and everything kind of to build the story, and the music video.
Yeah, it feels like what I found interesting through her creative process, and I'm guessing probably also yours, is a lot comes from intuition. A lot just comes from, like, she said she dreamt of something, and I feel as well sometimes for like some of the biggest things that I've realized what I want to do is just, sometimes it was a dream, sometimes it just came like this small thing, this small voice in the back of your head. Has that shaped what your path, where you went, and stuff you started, stuff like that?
Honestly, I have a very crazy story about this. Very, very, very crazy. I don't really tell people about this story because it's like, I mean, you shouldn't, like, I don't like to talk about what I didn't do, you know, and what I was planning to do, but like, I'll share it in a very humble way, whatever. During the quarantine, I built this business model, very clear, like, it was covered on, like, it was like, you know, it was reviewed by experts and shit, like, it was very clear.
Yeah.
And I was gonna be making around $8K a month, dollars, you know. So like, by the time I graduated uni, if I would have expanded it, the process, I would have graduated uni with at least 1.5 million. And like, it was covered, like I was gonna do it and everything, but there was one thing about it. I can't tell you what the business is, but basically, we were not offering something positive for them. Like, I knew straight up while I was building it, I was going against all my beliefs, I was going against all my values, and I was just focusing on the profits. Boom, boom, boom. And I knew this. And I would tell, like, I was with my grandmother at the moment, I would tell her, like, I know I'm doing this and everything. Like, and my grandmother, she's a very big supporter of mine because I've always told her, like, one time when I was 7, like, I told my grandma, like, one day I'm going to pick you up in a private jet and I'm going to take you to have lunch in Paris. Like, and I don't know why she's remembered this her whole life, and like, in subconscious, it kind of motivates me. Like, I made this promise to my grandma when I was like stupid and 6, you know, whatever, but you know, dream big. But so basically, I was gonna do this. I knew I was going against everything, but I still like set up the LLC and everything. And when I was about to go into operation, I had a dream one night, and literally, like, my grandfather passed away a year ago, and this was like 6 months ago. Yeah, and I had a dream where I was just like asleep, whatever, and my grandfather's face just popped, like literally, like split second, just pops out of nowhere. Just like I see his face, and he's like, "Don't do it!" Boom, leaves, just like that. I wake up like, fuck, like literally, just like comes in my face 1 second, "Don't do it!" Boom, leaves, boom. I wake up like half a second in the dream, like, boom, and I know exactly he was making reference to that.
Yeah.
That morning I woke up, canceled the whole operation, deleted everything. Boom, I said, fuck it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Deep.
I feel like people cannot like underestimate the power, because your subconscious, you can't control it. You can't control your subconscious. By doing, like, it's your conscious is your conscious. You know what you're thinking, you know all these things. But some things you can't really get out of your mind. Some things, your dreams are, you have no influence over them. Only, you know, that small,
the subconscious,
before you wake up, that little bit you can do stuff, but it's so important to listen to that subconscious, because I don't know where it's coming from. I don't know if you're religious, you probably think it's comes from a certain place, but it is something. It's so valuable.
It's crazy, man. It's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, that's a crazy story. That's a crazy story.
Dreams are insane. We know nothing about them. Like, we know nothing about dreams,
Yeah.
and it's 50% of your life.
Bro, you know, sometimes
50% of your life.
Yeah, actually.
And when you dream, so much stuff happens. That's why I was talking about, like, I respect sleep and everything, because I read this really good book called Why We Sleep.
Oh, Matthew Walker?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically,
I mean,
it breaks down the 8 hours. Like, at first it talks about sleep, what it is, how, like, literally every living organism does it. So, like, kind of like important. Like, every living organism does it. Like, nobody can go on without sleep. And not only this, but sleep, like, when you sleep, you go through a process of 8 hours, and each hour is different. You enter a new stage, and if you wake up like 4 hours, and then if you wake up after 4 hours and then go back to sleep, you're not going to go back to the 5th hour, You're going to start again from zero.
There are different sleep cycles.
There's
and each
different
of them
sleep
you go
cycles.
deeper and deeper.
You have to go deeper and deeper and deeper. No, and each part focuses on different parts of your brain. And around the hour, I think it's hour 7 or 6 and 7, it's one of the most important ones because you enter the REM cycle.
Rapid eye movement.
Yeah, the rapid eye movement. So I don't know if you've ever realized somebody's sleeping, they sometimes sleep and you can look at their eyes and their eyes they're in that state, the rapid eye movement, the REM state. And what happens there is basically everything you intake throughout the day in your mind connects. It's basically where logic starts to happen. Every information you download, everything starts connecting. Boom, 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 boom. And you wake up, and you don't realize it, but you understand more than the day before. That's why people say "Oh, nice proposition. Let me sleep on it." That's where the saying comes from. Let me sleep on it. Because when you sleep, kind of these puzzle pieces go together, and it creates clarity. So it's very important, very, very, very important to respect sleep. But yeah, and then the dreams that come with it. There's so many things. I've read books about the double. In Spanish, it's called the doble cuántico. It's your quantum double, which is basically you in your dream life.
Right.
And how in this dream life, your quantum double can basically, let's say you have a question, you can actually train this, and you can ask your quantum double questions before you sleep and program your sleep. And what the quantum double does is it basically analyzes all this information we're talking about, all this connectivity in the brain. And basically you're saying oh, what should I do about, I have 2 job proposals, which one should I take? During your sleep, if you actually practice it and can actually touch base with this, what's going to happen is that this quantum double will grab all the information you have in your brain, and it will basically, almost like an algorithm, it'll kind of travel to the future, algorithmically, and see which one is the best outcome. And if you're able to connect and actually touch with this, and you follow it, it's one of the most, it's following your intuition, that voice deep inside, you're connecting with that voice, and it's super active in your sleep.
I feel this is something that many people, because obviously what you just said for some people could sound a bit it's a bit like mumbo jumbo or something, but the quantum physics is what underpins this.
The quantum field.
How everything is connected.
Yeah,
and frequencies and vibration and this and that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why in you hear I've seen videos where people said you could, according to quantum physics, to the actual laws, be in 2 places at the same time, for example.
Definitely.
You could, because the laws says that it works, just everything is connected, everything is kind of linked together, and I feel people need to be more open to these types of things, even though it might seem a bit distant or a bit not very concrete, but we need to allow this to come into our lives more. The part that we can't see, the conscious mind. The most important decisions I've ever made was my unconscious mind. It didn't come from lots and lots of thinking. The things I started with something can come from a place of this is it. Just an intuitive decision. I find that so interesting.
Yeah, and also about intuition that you were talking about. It reminds me of this quote which says that all the answers you're looking for are already within you. And the fact that you just have to so many people make these pros and cons lists and psychoanalyze everything and overthink everything, but what you really need to do, I think, is just quieten your mind, and sleep really helps that, because sleep puts you in a state of deep focus when you're sleeping, and all your problems get resolved and stuff, and you can surely find answers 100%. And I've also had times when I've had this early morning dream, and then it actually happened in real life as well. Has it ever happened to you? It actually happened.
It happened after I woke up?
Yeah. I saw it was a very random scenario. I saw an early morning dream of my cousin coming to my house, right? It was a dream, right? And then I hear right after that I hear 2 knocks, and I open the door and she's right there. And I was that was really creepy. That was really creepy, because I knew it was a dream, and then someone knocks and then she's right there. So
that's kind of your mind being at another place at another time,
you
knew what was happening. I don't know if it happens to you, but sometimes you're thinking about someone, and that same second they text you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Where
that's
this
happened.
happens
That's
like
happened.
three
That's happened a
times
lot of time, bro.
It's
100%.
crazy, it's crazy, but that's really like your mind tapping into this quantum field and kind of like if you think about it, this could be like if this was a quantum field where all like ideas are like floating around, you know, time doesn't exist and everything, ideas are just floating around. And I think when there's a good idea, whenever you have a good idea and it's very original, you have to execute it, because when ideas come around, I feel like they float around, and a lot of whoever like senses it can like kind of have that idea and it comes down to. Like sometimes I see it like this, you know?
Yeah.
So like I feel like we're all connected in this like space, but we realize it to such a minimal level that we just have to like denominate it as, oh, that's a coincidence. You know?
Yeah.
Or oh, that's just life.
Yeah.
But we just don't understand it.
Yeah, maybe it's also a way of how we try and rationalize things that we don't understand, obviously,
Totally.
right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, come on, that's just a coincidence. That happened. It's like, yes, coincidences do exist. Maybe. The thing is, some people even say that they don't exist. You know, I mean, it's hard. You can't.
The thing is, we're ignorant creatures.
Yeah.
Like we think everything is what we know. We think we can give reason to everything. We think that like if we say it's like this, then it's like that.
We want evidence for everything.
Yeah, but in order to judge that, you have to have all the information. We know like
we know nothing.
we know
bro.
absolutely nothing that's going on. Like you don't know what's going on in this space. Like our senses, our five senses, only let us tap into these things. Like for example, like, I don't know, dolphins can communicate through waves, so they're like tapping into something more, but it's the same space.
Yeah.
It's the same space. They're just tapping into more ways of utilizing it. Like we feel temperature as they can see it.
And you know, even animals, they can like they know when an earthquake is coming, so they'll just go and they'll hide and stuff. They'll escape and stuff.
Exactly.
They have these heightened senses. But yeah.
And we think that our senses are like superior in everything. That's why we say like, oh, okay, if we can't explain it, then it's just a coincidence, because like we know everything. So if I can't explain it, it's a coincidence, you know. But that's like the most ignorant thing ever. The most ignorant thing ever. Like I'll give you, like to start off, I'll give you one concept that humans don't understand and will never understand, and the human mind will never capture: infinity.
Yeah.
Well, we don't understand infinity.
Yeah, we can't even compute.
Your mind, yes, your mind has to have a start and an end. You know,
Yeah.
life has this, boom, everything. But the concept of infinity is just unknown to us. Like we can't, our mind can't grasp it. You know, just can't.
Yeah, it's also interesting. Like your mind actively ignores things that aren't normal. You know, for example, there's a video of a black basketball team and a white basketball team with black and white shirts, and they play, and you're supposed to focus on the ball, going back and forth, and then a gorilla walks in across the screen, and it's this thing of, and obviously I didn't see it the first time, I didn't know what the experiment was, and it's like your mind actively think things are special, things are different, things are outside of what we normally think as normal, are just ignored, making it even more important to actually tap into that part of being aware, of being there and being in a place that's not just the four walls of this room, you know?
Yeah.
And I find that amazing with this, with also what you explained. It's crazy.
Oh, it's insane. Like distractions are super crazy. Like you remind me of this one thing that I was reading this article about how luck is defined. Or maybe it was a podcast. But they were basically defining luck. And they did a bunch of studies. Bunch of studies. Basically, they grabbed like 100 people and like they got 50 people that declared themselves to be lucky, 50 people that declared themselves to be unlucky. You know, it's hard to measure, so you have to like self-declare.
Yeah.
And what they realized was that they did a bunch of studies, like they studied them, lifestyle, whatever, and what they realized is that luck was directly correlated with awareness. Why? Because if you're aware of more opportunities, and therefore you get the one people weren't aware of, so they call you lucky, because you got it. You know? Because like, if you're aware of your surroundings, you're gonna be the one that finds the $100 bill on the floor. You know, if you're aware of everything that's surrounding, you can analyze more options, choose the best one that nobody got, and they're gonna just be like, oh, this guy's just lucky, you know, just lucky. But no, these are calm people that are aware, that are present, and they can analyze more, and therefore go for the best one. and they see all these opportunities that are kind of like distracted by people. Like I'm saying, the coin on the floor, the bill on the floor. If you're distracted, looking at other things, talking on the phone, boom, 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 whatever,
You'll never see
you're not
it.
gonna see it. But if you're there, present, how can you miss it?
It's about a simple mindset switch, you know.
Exactly.
You have to have, I mean, I wouldn't say an optimistic mindset, but just a neutral mindset where you're looking for things you want to have, you know, where you're looking for these opportunities. And then your subconscious will automatically go into like this autopilot mode, you know. You yourself see opportunities, and then you can easily just go and go for it.
Totally.
You know, yeah.
Totally.
I mean, also everybody has that one friend where you think, "Wow, this guy is always lucky. Always happens to this guy. Or the bad things always happen to this guy. Everything's always and there's so many different ways to interpret it. But if you put out a certain type of vibe, if you put out a certain type of energy into the world,
you're gonna receive it back.
Yeah.
It's the law of cause
Life
and
is a
effect.
mirror. Life is a mirror, you know.
Yeah.
So it's the law of karma, you know.
Yeah.
You're gonna get it right back at you.
If you smile to the world, the likelihood that you don't receive a smile back is very low. You know?
Yeah. People are scared to smile.
Yeah,
though.
people are scared to smile. If you walk around with a smile on your face,
Yeah.
one day actually in the morning, whatever, like you just walk around with a smile on your face.
Some
It's
people
gonna
get
be
really
crazy. It's gonna be crazy how many people are gonna be like, what? Like,
Yeah.
And then they're gonna start smiling. You know, like this morning we were in the metro. I was like dancing in the metro. You know, everybody was sitting here like, what the hell is this guy doing? But I was like happy, you know.
Yeah.
And I was just smiling and like maybe it's not make someone's day. I don't know, I mean, the probability that somebody disliked me dancing in the corner of the metro, you know, is very much lower.
Yeah.
I understand.
And it always because I mean, humans, when I watch you do dance in the metro, for example, it's like, or if somebody from some bystanders watching you, they might start this thought process of, am I missing something? Am I missing something? Because that's how humans do, how they work. Like, you see somebody doing something weird or something out of the ordinary, then you think, is there like, if somebody goes like this, for example, then you think, oh, is there danger over there? It's like, we kind of also help each other by, obviously, because we're social beings, we all interact with each other and help each other, but it's like, you can tap into that in your own mind, like by just being present, by just being aware.
Exactly, that we come back to expectations. A lot of people say like, oh, Monday morning. Just by saying, oh, Monday morning, you're expecting a shitty Monday morning.
What are you gonna get?
What are you gonna get? Like, just ask for it, you know? Like, it's simpler, it can't get simpler than that. What if you say like, ooh, tomorrow Monday morning, I'm gonna kill this week. You wake up, you're dancing, whatever, you know, and like, and the people that look at you weird are the ones that like, oh, it's Monday morning, what the hell is this guy doing?
Exactly.
That's why they're questioning themselves that, because that's their thought, you know?
Exactly.
And like, you make your own reality. Monday morning is gonna be Monday morning. You can choose to have 53 shitty Monday mornings in a year, or you can choose to have 53 dope Monday mornings in a year.
It's all a choice. And you know, one thing I realized as well, because I used to be a bit of a pessimist myself, is that when you try to, like, if you've been a pessimist for like most of your life and you try to change into a person that's neutral, a little bit of an optimist or something like that, is that change is going to be hard. You know, it's going to feel weird in the beginning. It's always going to feel weird. Like when you go to the gym for the first time, it's obviously going to hurt. It's going to pain. You know, you can't pick up like a 20, 30 kilo dumbbell and start doing curls and stuff, you know. You got to start small. It's going to pain. It's going to hurt. But that's normal. And you got to embrace that change. And you got to have this neutral mindset. And then I think things will come in due time.
Totally. I mean, I went through a process of like happiness like this. Like I've always been a generally happy person, but like my ex-girlfriend, my high school girlfriend, she really like taught me the value and importance of happiness. And like I always thought like, yeah, people are chasing, when I will grow up, like I want to chase happiness, like stuff like this. I want to be happy, but like I was like, okay, that just sounds like stupid. Like when she actually like dove into it with me, I was like, holy crap, this is like a lifestyle. Like this is something that you actually do. So like for a couple of years, 2-3 years, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm happy, waking myself saying like, I get to do this. Gratitude is very important in happiness because you can't be happy without being grateful. So like practicing gratitude and all these things, like, and I would reach points where I was like, to be honest, like I think everybody thinks like I'm a super happy person. I'm like so neutral, like this is so fake. But after a while, I realized that kind of like tricking my mind into that I was that type of person. I became that type of person.
You develop a habit
I
pattern.
developed it, and at the beginning, it did not feel natural. I was like, "Why am I even like lying to people? Like, why
That's
do
so
people
true.
think like I'm giving off a happy vibe? I'm not the happiest person. Like, please don't feel inspired by me." But then after, I was like, "Oh shit!" Like after a while, literally one day, I was like, "Fuck, when was the last time I was not happy?" And this happened to me like 3 months ago. I was like, "Damn, when was the last time I was not happy?" Like this is actually very deep. Like we're in a pandemic and everything, and like I'm thinking about the last time I was unhappy. Like that's deep, you know. It's a mindset.
It's all about the habits, man.
It's all about the mindset, how you wake up, how you view it, how you want to view it, you know. The expectation, like how I don't know, really just you shape your own reality.
I feel also this is something I've used, and I think I talked to you about it last time as well. Affirmations.
Yeah.
You know, like saying to yourself that not like necessarily I'm happy or something, or saying like stuff that you're grateful for example, like you said, things that you appreciate. That's automatically going to reprogram your subconscious. You're going to get these new thoughts and ideas, and if you repeat it yourself with the feeling and like you actually believe in it, I think affirmations do make a change. I mean, I do them almost every day. There's a certain time, I think I told you, I do it like almost every day. And honestly, it's helped me a lot in terms of mindset, like having a neutral, a semi-optimistic mindset and stuff. And also your life changes, man. I mean, for me at least, I hit the gym more often. A lot of new opportunities come my way and stuff, so it definitely changes your life.
And these affirmations, do you say them out loud?
I say it in my mind, so I say it like it's part of my meditation. So
Okay.
my meditation has affirmations, gratitude, breathing, and also like just being still. So there's it's like a 4 or 5 part meditation, so it's part of my meditation. So I'm in that state of focus and awareness. When I do that, it's like the results are going to be tenfold.
Focus.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's literally how it is. It's literally
Yeah, bro.
you can program yourself. We're programmed beings, you know.
Yeah, we're just like a supercomputer, man. Just like a computer.
It's crazy what we actually are as a supercomputer. The singularity.
Oh, AI, bro.
The singularity.
So what do you think about all this metaverse stuff? Because when I see it, there is something that's inherently that draws you to it. This land where you're just a character. This land of opportunity. It's actually ridiculous when you just talk about it. This land of opportunity in a computer of all this. Infinite. You can build whatever you want. You can do all this stuff. You can live there. You don't really, and
We can do this in the metaverse right now.
We can do this in the metaverse. We probably will be doing it in a year.
Yeah, bro. You want a podcast? Do that.
I don't know if you guys saw Mark Zuckerberg's keynote on the change the company's name to metaverse. It's like an hour and 20 minutes long of him just like showing you through all the processes and him showing like literally virtual meetings.
Yeah.
And like I think it was Bill Gates. He said in the next 2 years most meetings are going to be virtual. Literally.
I wouldn't want that, honestly. Something about being intimate with humans, something about emotions and stuff. When you talk to a person in person, like right now we're having this interview with you in person, right? And we've had a lot of interviews on Zoom. It's a totally different vibe, right?
Did you see the keynote though that I'm referring to?
Yeah, I watched like an excerpt.
Okay, but did you see like the types of avatars you can have?
Yeah, you can change your
Okay, there's one avatar that's like literally you. There's one avatar that looks like human you on a screen. So like you're gonna enter a space.
Human.
Yeah. Like there's one like you could be like a robot. You could be like the Wii people. All this stuff.
Yeah.
But there's one option that looks exactly like your pores, like everything. There's one that basically reads your body and it makes a 3D version, like FIFA. Imagine FIFA, but like a bit more realistic to the game. They already have like the pores of the people in the game. Like the details go crazy. Why can't you do that with an actual person? So it's gonna reach a point. And also, like, they're already developing gloves and everything for tactics and everything. So it's gonna reach a point where I'm literally gonna be in my room, like just standing here, whatever, and then I run into you and I actually give you your hand and I feel you grip my hand. That's gonna be very deep. I'm not for it. To be honest, I'm not for it. This creeps me the hell out. I'm scared of it. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm scared. By this point, I swear I'm not gonna have.
Bro, we're social creatures. We have to go out. We have to do stuff. We have to meet people.
Touch is one of the 5 primary love languages, and love is like, what's the world without love? You gotta touch people.
But if you think about this, like we're talking we just before this we talked about how important it is to be open to all this to different contexts, knowing different things. And don't you think that obviously, yeah, there is something scary about this. There's something scary because it's completely different. But don't you think that it's important to just be open to an extent to this maybe even new way of life? Because certain things are going to be inevitable soon, right? And it's going to be like, do you think that there's a possibility that this could be an upgrade on the normal life that we live here?
I mean, for sure, some processes that we have today are going to become obsolete. People are not going to travel for business anymore. People are going to a lot of companies during the quarantine they sold their buildings because they realized why are we paying for rent or whatever? Why don't we just sell this building if we can have everyone at home? It's working just fine. So obviously many processes are going to become obsolete and things are going to become much more efficient, which I really still don't agree with because I think things are the speed of things is too much today. Before you were fine with waiting a loading screen of maybe 20 minutes or whatever. It was normal. You had to wait for the movie to load and everything. Today, if you don't have it loading in 30 seconds, bye.
You're gonna switch to the next.
You're gonna switch to the next. Things are moving so fast today. I really don't want to see that moving at a faster pace. It really scares me. But what I also think is when Web 2 came out, so we have Web 1, which was in the 2000s. We had all these basically an online. No, Web 1.
Internet, right?
Web 1 was literally the encyclopedia on the internet that anybody could access.
Yeah.
Literally. Yeah. You couldn't do anything else. It was just a source of information online everybody could have access to.
Yeah.
Web 2 comes out, and this is when communication goes through. You can now engage with this platform. You can upload pictures, download pictures, communicate with people and everything. This is Web 2. And now we're stepping into Web 3, where you can actually tap into these things. You can have digital ownership of stuff, digital assets. You can have all these crazy concepts that we don't understand today. For example, also in the keynote, which I thought was very strange. I mean, not strange, but very these guys, these big people that know all these changes that are happening in the world. They work a lot with psychology, and Mark Zuckerberg was always making references to a list of 15 words that he even put on the screen for you to look at, intercompatibility, words like this. You know why? Because if I tell you if I would have asked you 1 year ago what a metaverse was, you wouldn't have known. You would have been what even is that word? Today, you probably hear it more than 10 times daily. And it's become a household word in the course of 1 year. This is about to happen with...
Less than a year ago. When you changed the name from Facebook to Meta, that was it.
But even before that, metaverse, everyone was what's the metaverse? Oh yeah, metaverse, Even without understanding, people were okay, metaverse, they know the word. Okay, this is about to happen with 15 more concepts, or 20 more concepts. When Web 2 comes out and you can maybe chat people through little I don't know, Hotmail or whatever. Compare Hotmail to FaceTime or to Instagram and stuff like this. Imagine how much it's grown. Before you could just communicate and that was wow. At the moment we're whoa, we're communicating online and everything. Now it's okay, this picture's taking 30 seconds to upload. What the hell, Think about that with Web 3. So today's we're whoa, NFTs. Whoa, we can tap into the metaverse. Whoa. Yeah. Think about that in 7 years when this is the stupid and the most basic thing. And today it's astonishing. 7 years is going to be the beginning, the basic. It's going to be Hotmail of Web 2, It's going to be insane. We don't even know what's coming. And that's the crazy part, I can't really, I don't know if I'm scared, I don't know if I'm not. Obviously I'm scared because when you're scared is born from the unknown, You're only scared of things you don't know.
That's true. Uncertainty.
So, uncertainty. And this is literally what we're going through right now. We're going through one of the most craziest technological revolutions that have happened and we've ever seen. And the pace at which it's moving, it's so exponential, it's so fast, it's actually dangerous. It's insane, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly really crazy with just purely VR goggles. I've seen so many videos of people on roller coasters, all this different stuff. How many videos have you seen of people jumping into televisions, jumping against walls, all these different things? It's so real.
With the goggles.
With the goggles. How many times have you seen a woman she's on a roller coaster and just jumps as if it's the most natural thing in the world? Of course I'm jumping. And I feel this does have the potential to feel like, and I'll also ask you how you feel about that. Feels like it can just completely replace, one-to-one, replace our reality right now. The only thing is that we're going to be in a room somewhere with all the haptics, and it's just you have your goggles on and you're in normal life, but you're just not there physically. But every other sensation is the same.
I mean, it's literally what we were talking about like a couple minutes ago when we said we all live in the same space, but we can all tap into it differently. You know, snakes can see temperature, we can feel it. The dolphins can do this. We can see, we can hear, whatever. You know. So really, that's our reality. Our reality is the sum and the product of our five senses coming together. And basically, what the metaverse is doing is altering all your senses. It's going to alter your touch. It's going to alter your view, your sight.
Yeah.
So if it alters it to a point where it's so professional, how are you going to tell the difference? It's like sometimes when you're in a dream and you can't even tell the difference.
Exactly.
You know?
I remember people. I dreamt that my cousin something called me, and I literally thought I was looking for the call on my phone.
Oh yeah.
It was that real.
Very real.
It feels like where is it? Where is it? And it's like it's just so crazy. Like
Sometimes you have a problem in a dream, and then you actually wake up and you're like, I have to do this now. You know, I have to do this, or you have like a sense of relief.
Yeah.
Have you ever had the thing where you're like falling,
Never.
just as you like?
I've never fallen in any
No
dream
way.
like
Never. I've heard this
That's
dream a lot.
cool.
My
Yeah,
dad gets
same.
it a lot.
So,
I've had it so many times. And it's like actually creepy because you feel like you're falling, but then you're on your bed and you're just like shaking and stuff. It's insane. It's really good.
No, but I've had a couple of dreams that like mix with reality a lot. It's very crazy. Like one, I've navigated a lot through my dreams. You know, like I feel like.
Have you ever lucid dream? Like have you had?
Yeah. I've had dreams where I completely control. Like I know I'm dreaming. I'm like, what's up? You know, I go
Did
explore.
you do something to get in that state? Because I've been trying to lucid dream, but I can't.
I mean,
I've had like a couple, but by chance, you know.
really, it just happens. It just happens. There's many ways to do it. You can like tap into it. You can hear some certain frequencies. You can also like kind of program yourself before you sleep. You can do a lot of things to it. And there's also like tricks to start realizing when you're dreaming. Like for example, if you wear a watch, you're usually not going to have your watch in your dreams. Or
you
like,
can pinch yourself in the dream and then.
but listen to this. Or like, so for example, there's people that for a whole month they draw like 2 circles on their hand, right? For a whole month. So when you're in the dream and you don't see these 2 circles,
You're
you're like, oh, I'm dreaming.
You can do whatever you want.
Yeah. So it's happened. Like for example, Sophia, my partner in Playhouse, she's insane. Like she actually does. She's been working with her dreams for like almost like 3 years now with like a therapy, like a dream worker and everything. And she actually like taps into them. Like
Wait, do I have a dream therapist? Like
I mean, no, it's like dream guides.
Oh.
Yeah. No, it's insane. Like Sophia literally like she dreams and she has tricks to like go to different places. Like she actually travels. Like if she wants, okay, I want to change my dream to this and this and this. Boom, she like switches a banana upside down, and that's her trick to like leave, you know, or like stuff like this. And it's deep because like also one time, like the dream guide, she can also tap into Sophia's dreams. You know, like Sophia's told her about dreams where she was also there. She's like, I know this happened because I was there. And this is like you can reach points like.
Have you seen that movie with the thing on I think it was called Inception.
Yeah.
You see that?
Inception, yeah, obviously, it's insane movie, and it's also super important because it works with all the time display, like the time distortion and everything.
Time distortion and the world distortion, bro. Everything going
Exactly.
upside down and stuff.
Exactly, but yeah, for me, I've lucid dreamed like a couple times. I wouldn't say to a like very intense state until this one day, where honestly, like that dream has always like worked. Like how, like so. This was like 6 months. Like at the beginning of this year. Very unexpectedly, the father of a friend of mine passed away, like super unexpected. Like it was very tragic and everything. And it had been like 6 months since that happened, and I was dreaming. And I was there, like I remember I was at the beach, and I just arrived to like a kiosk where like my parents are, you know, like I don't know, some hammocks were there or something. And I go there, and there's my parents with my friend's father. And like we were family friends, you know, so like my parents also knew him, so it was like a normal situation. But once I see him there, I'm like, aren't you dead? And I say like, okay, I'm dreaming. And at that point I say, okay, I'm dreaming. But then he comes up to me and he's like, no, I'm not dead. I faked my death. This is why we're here on this island, like, and everything. I'm like, no way, this is bullshit. So I start like putting myself to test. I started pinching myself. And like when you pinch yourself in a dream and you're dreaming, like it's not that doesn't hurt, whatever. It's like you can pinch yourself and stretch it super long.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I was pinching myself and it was like normal, like it was actually like kind of hurting like normal, but I wouldn't wake up. Like I looked at my hands, like I did all the tests and I reached the point where I said like, damn, this is not a dream, this is actually happening. And I almost like started crying. I was like, I don't understand why you faked it, like, and everything. I was like perplexed. And all of a sudden I woke up and was like, what the hell? Like,
That's crazy.
I actually tested, like I tested myself and the dream beat me. It actually beat me to a level that it convinced me after I questioned it. And that to me was like crazy. Like the mind is so powerful, like it's insane, you know? Super
Yeah, I
crazy.
mean, I really have to say that we've never gone this deeply into this type of topic, and this is really, I feel like our audience as well is gonna really, really enjoy this type of talk, because I feel like
People don't like to talk about this that much, you know. There's like a spectrum where people do like to talk about this a lot, and then people just close off, and they just like put it off. They think you're talking about this like mumbo jumbo stuff, you know.
Yeah,
So
people don't
fake,
give it the importance.
Yeah.
And that's also what scares people to talk about it. You know, people don't want to sound like that guy that believes in the weird shit, you know, and everything. But like,
you get like people put stereotypes.
yeah, like, oh, like, yeah, why don't you go work with your spiritual weird shit? You know, like, yeah, whatever you say, like, you know, and some
Astral
people,
travel.
yeah, why don't you go, like, ask the stars or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to see it that way, see it, but it's going to be a matter of time until you realize, like, you've been living a lie, you know? Like,
Yeah.
it's insane. Like, if you study ancient civilizations, if you go to Machu Picchu where the Incas lived, they had literally observatories for the stars in their ancient civilizations thousands and thousands of years ago, you know?
Yeah.
And they were already studying these things. And they also have, the Incas and these civilizations, they also have things we can't explain. Like, for example, I don't know if you know Machu Picchu, it's built with stones that originate from the ocean. And this is like 4,000 meters high in the middle of Peru, like nowhere near the coast. Like, the coast is far away, you know? And we can't explain that. For example, the pyramids of Giza, pyramids of Chichen Itza in Mexico, I don't know what, and some other ones like in Chile or something, I think it is, they form a perfect triangle if you look at them from outer space. Things we can't comprehend. And these civilizations did. Okay? And who was able, like for example, the natives and everything in South America, why were the Spaniards superior? Why? Because they had guns.
and
Period.
and
Point blank.
just
They had
wiping
guns.
one out.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Point, like, period. They were not superior. They were not more intelligent. They just simply had guns. Which some people can argue, okay, yeah, like, guns, like, they give you, like, in order to build a gun, you have to have some sort of intelligence, but that's just, like, what you define as intelligence. But, like, universal intelligence, these civilizations had it, and they were just shut up. And the Spaniards also, like, there's an interesting study of why they were able to colonize, not only because of the guns, but they were also able to expand very easily in Europe, because if you look at South America, like, when you look at South America, it's vertical on the globe, right? It's vertical on the globe. So they have, from top to bottom, they have different hours per day, different sunlight, different seasons. Like, Colombia don't have seasons, in Argentina you do. You know, what does this happen? This is terrible for crop work. When you're actually like first people to do crops, and you're figuring this shit out, like, this is going to cause a lot of problems. In Europe is horizontal. They had the same weather all year round, always, in every space. It was easier for them to scale. Plus the guns, and plus horses and these type of domestic animals are native to here. So what happened? The Spaniards built an immune system against these animal flus. And they go colonize all these people, not only do they kill them, but the flu wipes them out.
Yeah.
And they didn't have the antibodies. The Spaniards were superior because of these three reasons.
Yeah. I really have to say, I find that I love the fact that there's just stuff that we cannot explain. When there's hieroglyphics in some pyramid in Egypt that has a helicopter and a spaceship. Actual. I will put it up on the screen. You guys won't. This is real.
Yeah.
If a full-on helicopter, where I showed my grandma, I showed her, and you can't mistake it as something else. You can't mistake it as something in nature or anything. Obviously, we don't want to get into other stuff, but like, we weren't there. we don't have photos, we don't have anything. There's stuff that's just there, and that I feel like that still just makes just existence exciting
Yeah.
as well. Because I would love to know if they just all just built all the pyramids with helicopters and like spaceships. Who knows that?
Yeah.
And it's just amazing. It's amazing to see.
Insane. And all these things are like so real. Like at the end of the day, like aliens and everything, you see them in these hieroglyphics and everything. Like, and today, I mean, yeah, they can be considered obviously like nowadays. Like honestly, if you don't accept like there's other intelligent life out there, you should reconsider your analysis of like the universe.
UFO side,
Yeah,
right?
like you should reconsider your analysis of like the universe. Like I'm not gonna tell you you're wrong, but you should definitely reconsider. So if you think there's no other like intelligent life out there, like when we think about this concept of aliens or this concept of witches or this concept of like all these like kind of fictional characters, what do you think? Like one day somebody said like, oh, I'm gonna make up this creature that's gonna look like this, and they're gonna come like, okay, suddenly I know we live in a planet, so there must be other planets, and then there's a universe. Like they come up with all this huge information, thousands and thousands of years ago, and they build this persona. That's like it has so much detail they didn't even know about that they can't even build that persona. Like so what? Somebody pulled an alien out of their like So like no, these are concepts that are not fictional. They might have visited at some point and they were left off, and for some reason they left.
Yeah.
Easy as that.
I just feel like some people just aren't ready for the sound of conversation.
Yeah, some people are ready. And we can expand on all the topics, but honestly,
This is a high level
I mean,
conversation.
I feel like
it's a big rate, honestly.
we definitely need a part 2 for this podcast.
For sure.
Part two, man.
When we have the nicer mics, all this stuff, we'll definitely need to run this back. But now I would like to get to the segment of our podcast called the Rapid Fire Round. With all of our guests, we have done a rapid fire round where we ask you so many questions and you have to answer them as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
You will be put on a ranking that you guys will be able to see on Instagram, on our Instagram account. Will be every single time we upload and post a new podcast, we will be showing you the leaderboard, and at the end of the season you will receive a prize.
And how is it based? Like, is it a right or wrong answer, or
There's no right or wrong. Just as fast as possible.
Well, okay, but are you gonna ask me a question? I say yes or no, or are you give me options and choose?
It's up to you.
Okay, just go.
So if you want to win, you gotta keep it short, simple, sweet. You know.
But how do I win? How's it measured? By least time? Or
Yeah.
Least time.
Least time.
This
Yeah.
time.
Boom.
We're not gonna tell you what the
Okay, no details though. No
no
details.
details.
3, 2, 1, go.
Crypto or stocks.
Crypto.
Least favorite subject.
History.
Most favorite subject.
Creative art, like 2D design and stuff like that.
Biggest achievement.
Biggest achievement? Shit, I don't know. Maybe being the MC at my graduation, giving the speech at my graduation.
Favorite car.
Favorite car? Fuck, I mean, like this. Actually, I'm talking like this, guys. Like I don't know. I would say maybe like a Porsche.
Biggest inspiration.
Biggest inspiration. Literally, it's gonna sound weird, but the guy from Why Him, the movie, like James Franco in Why Him.
Favorite travel destination.
Favorite travel destination? I mean, I don't like to do reoccurring, but I don't know. I would say California.
Best piece of advice.
A man has 2 lives, and the second one starts when he realizes he only has one.
I watched that on the podcast. Your favorite book.
My favorite book, Journey of Souls.
Your favorite hobby.
Drawing.
Do exams matter? Yes or no?
No.
Best investment.
Ooh, myself. Like on my own education.
Money or happiness?
Happiness.
If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
If I want
One superpower.
fine.
Beach or mountains?
Mountains. Oh, that'd be, I don't know. In Colombia, we have beaches with mountains.
Favorite luxury brand.
Hold on, Chrome Hearts.
Favorite cuisine?
Cuisine? Sushi, like Japanese.
Hard work or smart work.
Smart work.
Dream job?
Creative, like a respected creative director in a field that doesn't exist yet today.
And the last question: do you feel fulfilled?
So far, yes.
Perfect, man. I don't know what your time is. We always get the time, but
Yeah, no,
I will let you know, man.
I doubt it was that good. Like honestly, like some of them, I was like,
the first few were a bit hard, man.
like I wanted to be honest.
Yeah, but
You'll be in the top 15.
Thank God. But like, if I can say one more piece of advice that really reminded me of that one, when you said money or happiness. Have you guys heard the story about the fisherman?
Which fisherman?
The fisherman and the businessman.
No, I haven't.
Never?
No, go for it.
So there's this businessman who owns like a bunch of markets and everything around the world. He's a very rich man. You know? He goes one day to excuse me. So he goes one day to the harbor and he sees like super poor man, you know, a fisherman, not even poor, you know, like low class fisherman, whatever. He's fishing, and then he's like, okay, like you really know how to fish, but I'm a businessman. Like, would you like me to teach you how to make a business out of this? And the fisherman's like, what? Like, why? And he's like, so you can expand this. You could get more fishermen. You can sell more fish. You can make more money. He's like, yeah, but why do I want more money? He's like, so you can like expand the business and sell more. Like, okay, but after that, like, what am I gonna do? And he's like, you're gonna have a bunch of money. And he's like, and the fisherman says like, what do I do with all that money? And then the businessman says like, what do you mean? You can do whatever you want. And the fisherman says like, what? Like fishing?
Yeah.
Don't jump on that like vicious circle of chasing what you already have, thinking you don't. You know, like
Wise words, man.
Yeah,
Wise words. All right, bro. So we end this interview with one simple question that we ask all of our guests. It's a pattern, and you can answer it any way you want. How do you get rich? Talking about money. How do you get rich?
How do you get rich? How do you get rich? I mean, depends on your definition of rich.
You got that before.
You know why? Because I'm not gonna like money and numbers. Like they can get as big as they can get low. So I really think like a rich man will not be. How do you get rich? You get rich by being comfortable with less.
That's a very stoic way to end it. Yeah.
I like
Yeah, that's good, man. That's good.
If you can conform yourself with less, then you don't need a lot to be rich. Therefore, you're already rich.
I mean, this has been an absolute pleasure. It's been
Amazing, bro. Honestly.
Thank you guys very much.
It's been really great, man.
Honestly, it's been
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
You'll see this on your screens very,
Thank you
very
guys
soon.
so much.
Part 2 coming very soon.
Please.
Yeah,
This has been
yeah.
like I love this. Like what a great time we had.